Hey everyone, welcome to a live Q&A with yours truly, Sam Healy. Thanks for joining me this morning. I don't even know how many of you guys and gals are out there, but hey, we are here and ready to go. Good morning, Cthulhu. Good morning, Malarkey. And good morning to Mr. E. So, we are headed into our last week before Dice Tower Con, so there's a lot of stuff going on this week. I think we're keeping the front half of the week pretty normal as far as getting things going with Q&A today, testing Tuesday tomorrow, and I think that's about it. I know we've got a back talk on Friday where we're actually going to be talking about Dice Tower Con, so there's that as well. So yeah. Dice Tower Con is going to basically take the whole week and then some. We're going to be traveling up about, I think, Monday, most of us. Some of us on Tuesday, maybe. And then we're starting to get stuff set up on Tuesday. And then it's going to go all the way to Sunday. So it's a whole 7-day thingamadoogie hopper for us. So that's good. Good Monday morning, board game fangirl. Hello from Belgium. All right, Giovanni Henry, or Henri, maybe, I don't know. Hey, Samewise. Hello, Chad. Good morning, everyone. I just made my first cup of coffee, and it's going to be my only cup of coffee, probably. But there you have it. All right, good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Terrace. Good morning, Dale. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Eric. Am I playing much Shadespire? No, not much, but I still desire to play it. I did pick up another faction. I don't even remember the name of them now, but I did pick up another faction while I was up in New York at the Gathering of Friends at Millennium Games. So, and I haven't had them to the table yet. So. I'm looking forward to doing that. I do still really enjoy the game. It's still very high up there as far as what games are there. Aaron Rosenthal, hello from Israel. Good morning. Well, it might not be morning for you, but it's morning for me. So good morning, Ryan. Hello from Philly. Devin Stoddard, hello. Spooky Kid, hey. My family and I want to go on the next Dice Tower cruise. Do you know of anything about it? Do you know anything about it at all? Yeah, we've been on a few Dice Tower Con cruises. So basically, I don't know what ages your kids are, but they have, Royal Caribbean has a really good kids program where you can basically drop them off in the mornings. I think like around 8-ish, 9-ish, right after breakfast, whatever. And they do a tremendous job taking care of your kids while you go and kind of hang out and do what you want. There's a lot of stuff to do with your kids on the boat, so you don't have to put them in there all the time. Of course, I didn't. So there's that. But the kids program is great. When I did take my youngest Aiden into the group, there were times where we asked him, do you want to go do something with us, or you want to go back to your group program, your group kids, after lunch or whatever? And he was like, I want to go back. So he had a great time. He loved it. Now, he didn't want to go all the time, of course. He wanted to spend time with us too, but they did enjoy it. He was 7 at the time, so there's that. There's a lot of stuff that you can do on the ship. And then on top of that, we have a fairly well-stocked library. There's a lot of playing space all over the place. I don't want to talk, well, I guess we're talking about Dice Tower Con on Friday, so I guess I can say whatever. There's a number of different places to play games on the boat when you're there, and it's a great time. And your family, I don't know if they're gamers or not, so if they're not, there's still tons of stuff to do. They had an escape room. There's multiple pools. There's a huge screen. There's a kids play area, pool area. There are an arcade room. There's basketball courts, wave, flow rider, whatever you want to call it. There's miniature golf. There's a casino. I'm just kidding. There is a casino, but not for the kids. There is an ice skating rink. At nights, there are shows that you can go watch. There's just a ton of things to do. It's literally no. I hate saying it this way, but I think I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you don't have fun on the cruise, you're doing something wrong, because it is a great time. It's really kind of I think the best way to vacation, because you get everything in one pop. You know, you don't have to pay for gas over here and hotels over here and food over here and this over there. You just pay one lump sum. You're on the boat. You have everything at your fingertips. There are some things you have to pay extra for, but there's everything that you want at your fingertips pretty much, and you've already paid for it for the most part. So it's a great time if you can afford it, because I know it's not and I know it's not cheap. You won't be disappointed, I don't think. All right, so let's continue on down. Oh no, it jumped. I hate it when it does that. It didn't jump too far though. That's good. All right, so let's see here. All right, good afternoon from the UK. Tim Mercer, welcome. Hey John, how you doing? New flight plan or Eastern fronts? You can only have one. Go. Man, Eastern Front gave you the Russians, and it gave you a bunch of scenarios for your snow map. But new flight plan can be used with anything. Man, I don't want to sound like Colton the New, but I would really probably go with new flight plan if you're making me choose between those two specifically. Man, that's a hard one, because Eastern Fronts gives you the Russians, another army. I'm going to go with new flight plan because it's usable with everything else, and you might not always be using the Russians. So yeah. How much coffee is too much or too little? I don't know. Because I really don't drink a lot of coffee. I maybe have one cup a day, but that's only if I'm here. I usually don't have it on the weekends, and I don't usually go out of my way to go like to Starbucks or anything like that. The only place I really drink coffee is at work, and I only have one cup, so it's not like I'm pounding it back every couple of hours. It's like that right now. I'm not drinking it because it's a little too hot, so I gotta wait for it to cool down, and then once it cools down, I'm kind of out of the mood to drink coffee, I guess. I don't know, but to answer your question, I haven't a clue. Chad Stilson says, were you hoping Outer Rim would have been better? I seemed a little lax about the game. Did I? If I did, I didn't mean to. I was really happy with Outer Rim. I was actually going into it, with apprehensively, because people were saying it's like Firefly, and I really enjoy Firefly, but it's just too long. And so I was like, wow, if it's like Firefly, I mean, yeah, I'm going to like it a little bit more because it's Star Wars, and I like Star Wars better than Firefly. But I was apprehensive going into it because I didn't want just another Firefly with the theme wrapped over, and I wanted something streamlined, a little bit quicker, played faster, maybe a little bit more intuitively, and that's what I got. So I do really enjoy the game, and I love the sandbox nature of it, and how you feel like you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. It can get risky, of course, but never tell me the odds. It's one of those games where the theme really kind of made it come alive for me. I really enjoyed Firefly, don't get me wrong, but it just felt clunky. Like there was just too much. It was bloated after a while, because you wanted to I mean, let's face it, we got one season of Firefly and one movie to go on. There's just, and I know that they probably had much more planned, and so there's so much more in that universe that you've just never seen. And so with Star Wars, there's so many movies, there's so many books, there's so many TV series, cartoon series and stuff like that. You've seen so much of it, and so you feel like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy, and I recognize there's a lot of things in the Firefly decks that I'm like, what is that? Never saw that. Don't even know what it is. And so I just like Outer Rim better. It gives me the same feeling Firefly did but it's more palatable, and so I really enjoy it. I don't know, and if I seemed lax about it, I gave you the wrong impression, and I apologize for that. All right, Spooky Kid, your name is Jason. Hi, Jason. Did you watch any of the Star Wars Legion World Championship over the weekend? No, I did not. I am not a big fan of watching any type of board game tournament or championship or what have you. And it's not that I don't like Star Wars Legion, I just don't like that tournament format for playing board games. That's not what I'm into. I like playing board games for the fun, not necessarily for the competition. So yeah. Have you seen or read anything about the game Folded Wishes? I have not. I apologize. What's your opinion on alternate history games, specifically the war strategy types? Well, I do like a lot of things. Like Tannhäuser is very much an alternative history game, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it probably more for its mechanisms than the theme, because it resides in that Hellboy-ish kind of universe, which is fine. I really enjoyed the Ron Perlman Hellboy movies. I have not seen the new one. My son Michael, who is a Hellboy comic book fan, did not like that movie. So he also liked Ron Perlman as Hellboy much better, as far as the actor playing him. So yeah, I that's a good one. Unfortunately, it's pretty much out of print, but I do enjoy those twists. Joan of Arc, Time of Legends is kind of an alternative type history thing, because they're taking fantastical reports that were actual historical reports and making scenarios based off of them, and then of course infusing a lot of fantasy into it. So it's kind of an alternative history type game too. I enjoy those kinds of games, yeah. Jason is 16. Welcome. Trent Turner says, good morning, looking forward to our first Dice Tower Con next week. All right, cool. We'll see you there. And an amazing gamer and modest Spooky Kid. Well done. All right, so why did you guys start pronouncing Simon with a K as come on? Because they have said that they want their company name to be pronounced that way now. So Come On Games is the way that they are looking for the future. So that's what we're trying to do. We still slip and say Simon because we've said it so many times that way for so long. But they want it to be translated or transfigured, I don't know, over into Come On. So that's why we started doing that. Jose Lopez says, do you guys ever try fan-made expansions? To stop and answer that question, I usually don't, because it probably involves some kind of printing and making of components, and I just don't want to take the time to do that. So I don't. Now he continues with, if you do, are you guys the type to just print and play, or do you try to match the quality of the original game to make it more seamless? And again, I don't do that. If I were to do it, I would try to make it seamless, which is why I don't do it, because it would involve a lot more work than just printing and playing. Diana Winter asks, how many people work for the Dice Tower? Really like your YouTube videos, but would love more frequent podcasts. Well, I guess the term you use there, work, is pretty much a nebulous one. And frankly, I don't know all of the ins and outs there, so I'm leery to answer your question. Here at the studio, we have myself, Z, Tom, Kenny, Chris, and Roy. So myself, Z, Tom, Chris, Kenny, and Roy. So that's 6 people here at the studio that are full-time employees. Then we also have Lindsay. She is our marketing director, I guess you could call it that. And then there's also Mark Streed. And then there are then there's Mandy and Suzanne. But again, I don't know anybody's financial status about, part-time, full-time. I don't know really, except for who's here. I don't really know any of that. I'm just saying people who are very regular contributors. There's Crystal Pisano, there's Eric Summer, there is Brian Drake. There are, and I'm in deep. You've put me in deep water here, because I'm not going to remember everybody, and it's because my brain don't work that good. I've said this many times, but it has nothing to do with anything else. There's a lot of people who do things for the Dice Tower, but I don't know specifically all of the ones that are working for the Dice Tower, if I can do that. So I don't know. To answer your question, I've given you kind of just a tip of the iceberg type answer, and there's much more under that, but I don't know all the ins and outs, so I don't really want to comment any more about that. Let's see here. Do I know? See, Jason, Spooky Kid, you asked, do you know when it might be? I was mostly wondering where it is. I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know, buddy. You have to provide me with more information there. Shacked Aaron Rosenthal. It seems like the company is putting out Seventh Continent is getting some heat for saying they are done with it and don't want to print anymore so that they can focus on their next game. What are your thoughts? Well, again, I guess I don't have any real thoughts other than to say, the company can do what it wants to do. If it doesn't want to make any more copies of Seventh Continent, then it doesn't have to make any more copies of Seventh Continent. If they want to focus their attention on their next game, maybe, I guess some people could think that, well, they're just kind of fueling the cult of the new idea where we've pumped one game out, now we're done with it, let's pump another game out, and when we're done with that, we'll pump another one out. And so I get that, I can understand that, but that's kind of the beast that Kickstarter and Indiegogo and crowdfunding is kind of creating. And I think the companies are just kind of going with the flow right now, because that seems to be kind of almost the norm, right? Where people are always focused on what's coming out in the future, and you're not really focused on what's here right now. And so that's the problem. I can't fault a company for riding that wave, because at the end of the day, yeah, they're a board game company, but they're also trying to make money, and they're trying to make a living. So for them to follow that wave, yeah. What was the last game I purchased? Full game? Goodness. It was probably a gift for someone, and I don't remember. The last thing game related that I bought for myself was the new faction, the new faction for Shadespire. So I don't man, I can't remember, you know, and I remember buying something a couple weeks ago, but I can't remember what I bought. Yeah, I don't know. We get so many games in here, man, you know, and most of the games that we're trying to play, we're doing it for review. So I'm focused on that, you know. Hey Sam, the Rise of Queensdale, did you ever complete it? Seeing Derek moved, will we get a full review from you guys? You know, looking at the Rise of Queensdale right over there, just behind the camera on one of our shelves in here. So it's not an out of sight, out of mind. It's more like we're so busy with things that are popping up that we weren't really expecting to have to deal with. So there's a lot of things that it's just kind of taken. It's on the back burner, but I would like to finish it. I don't know about finishing it, but to play it some more and then do that review. I know we did, I think, some first impressions type stuff with it, but I would like to do that, but it's not really up to me. Any idea where I could find a copy of Merlin's Company for Shadows? No, I don't. I've not looked at. I actually don't really enjoy Merlin's Company that much for Shadows over Camelot. I mean, I have it, but I rarely use it because I think it adds another layer of difficulty to the game that can pretty much tank the game for you, provided that you have a bad shuffle or something to that effect. Where a lot of those witches cards, I think what they were called, if a lot of those come up at the same time, good luck. Because you're really going to need it. I mean, you already need it anyway, but you're really going to need it if that happens. Would you consider the table you are at right now big enough for TI4? What about with a topper on? With a topper on, possibly, maybe. And it also depends how many players. If you're playing a 4-player game of TI4, yeah, I think you could do it. But anything more than that, no. This is not big enough. Any news on the Rising Sun season cards from the Dice Tower Kickstarter? I know that Tom submitted them, and I know Eric tweaked them a little bit, and that's all I know. Good morning, Heather. Oh, he was talking about... okay. Got it. Hawk Skull UK is is fleshing things out for me a little bit here. Okay, so Spooky Kid was the one that was asking. Jason, sorry, was the one asking about the cruise, and he said his son is 16, not him. I got it. Yeah, the next one's going to be in. Is January 2020, and it is sold out, but there is a waiting list. He's correct. After that, you're looking at January or February 2021. That is all correct information. Fort Wayne, Indiana, boardroom gamer. All right, hello from Brazil. All right, Daniel, welcome. What do you think about Rivet Wars? If you've played it, I have not played it. I apologize. I did have a copy of it, but it just never hit the table. So we got rid of it, I think, at the last Dice Tower Con, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's this one. I can't remember. Just played Blood Rage for the first time. Ryan Keith says, how do you feel about the game 2-player? I've never played it 2-player. I've played it 3-player, and that's it. Well, I mean, that's the lowest I've gone, is what I mean by that. So I've never played it 2-player before. Oh, see, still a little bit hot. Thoughts on Trudvang Legends from what has been previewed thus far? I am very interested in giving it a try. I had a couple of opportunities while I was at Come On Expo, but they never fleshed out. It was just timing issues and that type of thing, and we were never able to actually connect. But I'm really looking forward to it, giving it a try. I think it's going to be a fun game, but again, I'm a little bit partial there because I do like a lot of the stuff that Eric Lang puts out. I like his style of game that he usually designs. I'll put it that way. And so I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I am not a beer guy. I actually don't drink. I guess they call me a teetotaler. So I don't actually drink alcohol. So I don't have a favorite craft beer. Malarkey Blood Rage is a good game for sure, but it's awful at 2 players in their opinion. So there you have, chiming in. I love Firefly, so I'm excited about trying Outer Rim. Yeah, I think that there is a lot of similarities there, and you will, I think, enjoy the game. I have had some people who are very tried and true Firefly fans that they think that Firefly is the better game, but I disagree. Because I think, as I said earlier, Firefly is just bloated, and right now, Outer Rim is more streamlined. Now I'm pretty sure they're going to add some expansions to it, so we'll have to see on how long it remains unbloated. But we'll see. I think you will enjoy the game if you like Firefly, though. You might still come away from it thinking Firefly is better. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, have you already tried Black Rose Wars? I have. I've played it. We actually did a live playthrough here with a late prototype, and then I also played it again at Come On Expo with a friend of mine, Jim, and well, actually, during the game, it really felt like he was wiping the floor with me, but the end game scoring came out pretty even. He still won, but only like about 4 points. But that may have been him taking it easy on me too. So yeah. There is no such thing as a streamlined FFG game. You are wrong, Oliver. I apologize. But yeah, I can't let that stand. Firefly is beautiful. Shush, Sam, shush. You just shushed me. That's not fun. That's not cool. All right, Guillermo says, "Are you guys still trying to learn Batman, or have you guys had a few playthroughs yet?" I've played it. I think altogether, I played it once at Roy's house. I've played it once at Come On Expo. I played it, and I think 3. Well, I played it twice at 2 different conventions. I mean, once each, and then we played it. The live playthrough that we did here. So I've played it about 5 times, and it pretty much stayed the same throughout. So I don't think we're trying to learn it. We're just really busy right now with convention prep and a lot of other things that we weren't expecting to have to be dealing with. So I think that's really what's kind of put the hold on the Batman Chronicles thingy. Mario Bobosa, just say hello and thank you for your contribution to the board game love. Thank you, Mario. Chad Stilson, thank you for your reply on Outer Rim. I guess when I said Lex, I meant that you were not super excited like you are with Rebellion. I totally understand now. Thanks. All right, cool. Thanks, Chad. Chad Eichwood, any word rumor on the next game in the Birth of Europe series to follow up on 878 Viking? What would you like to see? I don't have any new word on anything that's coming out from Academy Games along that line. I might look into that, though, because I really do enjoy 878 Viking. So yeah, but I don't have a expectation either. So yeah. What games do you like with low player interaction? Not many. I really enjoy player interaction in games because it brings in that social element that I really enjoy with games, and I like engaging with people on that level. Whether it's cooperative or competitive, I don't care, but I want player interaction in games. And so when a game doesn't have player interaction, or if there is a low level of it, as you've said here, then it's not really a game that I enjoy that much. So yeah, that's one of my huge detractors from a game is a lack or a low level of player interaction. I'm waffling on FFG. I'm waffling on Outer Rim because FFG does not make games I enjoy. Not into rolling a bunch of dice, but I love Star Wars and pick up to deliver. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You're not really rolling a whole lot of dice in Outer Rim. I mean, yeah, there is combat, and you're rolling dice for them there, but it's really no different than the same kind of dice rolling that you're doing in Firefly. So if you like Firefly, regardless of the company that produces the game, I think that you will enjoy Outer Rim. Jim Pridgeon, speaking of Joan of Arc, it popped on me again. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? There it is. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, there we are. Speaking of Joan of Arc, will there be a copy in the library or in your personal stash to play next week? Well, I may or may not have messed up putting the models in their bases because there wasn't any guide per se, and the one guide in one of the expansion boxes that did come with it was a little confusing, so I may or may not have glued the miniatures in the wrong bases, so it's a little bit of a wonky copy, the one that I have, and I don't know how I'm going to fix it yet. But I might just bring the core box. I don't know. I haven't talked to Tom about it, but we'll be talking about that this week. So maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Pete Shirey, see you in a week or so. Yes, sir. All right. And then Trevin had to ask Pete about a shark game coming out from Ravensburger. Jim is telling Pete that he's going to be packing Black Rose Wars. Okay, great. Let's see, Lone Meeple. Which game are you looking most forward to playtest next month? That's an interesting question. Next month is going to be July. So what game am I looking forward to most? Well, we got Brook City in, and I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I like the police theme aspect to it. I actually have it at home looking at the rule book, and it was slightly daunting. So I don't know if we're going to, how soon we're going to get to it. But I don't read very fast. So when the rule book is larger, it takes me a bit longer. So maybe Tom will take the point or something like that. Again, we're really busy getting ready for Dice Tower Con, so it probably is going to happen this week or next, but maybe after that. What happened to Eric? He's not been on the Dice Tower videos or anything for a long time. He does Dice Tower Tonight every 2 weeks. I don't think anything has happened to him. Maybe he just hasn't been making any videos lately, which is not something that he normally does anyway. Maybe he's just busy with his full-time job of voiceover work and audiobooks and stuff like that. New top 10 Q&A questions that make you feel smirked. Not a whole lot. I don't know if I can come up with 10. Steven Sanford says, what is your opinion on Kickstarter exclusive in-game content, not just upgraded components? I'm new to the hobby, and I find it's better for me not to look at Kickstarter stuff for the games I enjoy. I feel your pain, Steven, because I'm really kind of there. I don't back a lot of stuff on Kickstarter. If we get a game in here that's from Kickstarter, that's really the only way I'll be able to play most of the stuff that comes out with just exclusively Kickstarter content. Or if it hits the retail side of things, then I might be able to pick it up there if I really want to. But I really agree with you a lot there. It seems like the Kickstarter exclusive content is really what's driving the engine. Unfortunately, it's less about the core box game and more about all the stuff that you're going to get with it and all the other stuff that you can add on that's not going to be available retail later on. And that's unfortunate, in my opinion. I think it's bringing in a new dynamic to the well, I don't think it's really new anymore. It's adding another dynamic to the board game hobby that always has people looking to the future and not, never your focus on where you are, to pull from Yoda a little bit there. But yeah, I agree with you, bud. I don't like it, but it's kind of the nature of the beast right now. Christopher Bragg, yo! Just wanted to say hey and hope you're well, Sam. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. Have you tried Brook City? I just said no, but I know I'm behind. So no, we're going to get to that pretty quick. Just seen Shut Up and Sit Down's video on the new Bat-Bit game. It looks bad. Any thoughts? It is not bad. The rule book, in my opinion, is atrociously written because it will say this, and if you want the full explanation, turn to this page, and then you get to that page, and then you got to turn back to a different page for something else. And then the index is in an alphabetical order, but the problem is that all of the player aid stuff uses icons, and it doesn't have the name of what that is. So it's kind of an oversight where they have all of the icons there with the alphabetical listing, but alphabetical doesn't do you any good because you don't know what that icon is until you found it in the index and you know what the name of it. And so now that you know the name of it, now you can go back to that whenever you want. But now I have another icon that I need to look up. What does that do? Well, I don't know. What is it called? Let's scan all of the icons and until I find it. And it's that kind of thing. It was just wonky. And that's the best word I can come up with. The game is fun. The rule book, however, is wow, not good at all. So I don't think the game is bad. I think the game is good, but unfortunately, you've got to go through the muck of the rule book to get to the game. Have you seen or heard about the new Castles of Burgundy? I have not. The Lone Meeple, any Kickstarter games that you are looking forward to getting to the table? I guess Brook City was a Kickstarter game, so maybe that's one I'm looking forward to. Looking at some of the other things over here that Tom's got on the background here. Wow. Not a whole lot. Oh, Space Alert. Red Alert. The new one from PSC Games is the. I don't think it was a Kickstarter. I don't know if it was a Kickstarter because I don't really pay attention to Kickstarter that much. But that's a new one that just came out. I'm looking forward to. It's the space version of Richard Borg's Command and Color series. So that's cool. Sorry, I gotta check something real quick. But did Sam get to try Madara, or did Tom steal just like he took Seventh Continent and Gloomhaven? Well, I've not played Madara yet, so I don't know if it's definitely a time where Tom is stealing it, using the words that you're using. But have you played anything in the Aeon's End series? I have, and I enjoy it. I think it's a really neat deck builder. And I think it's a fine game. I played it on the Dice Tower Cruise last time, so it was good. Can I please, Trevor is asking me, can I please talk to Days of Wonder and get us an at-sea expansion with subs and carriers? Would be amazing with air pack. Thanks. Well, I don't have any real pull with any of that. So even if I asked for it, there's no conceivable way I could even come close to saying that they'll do anything about it. However, I don't know how I guess you could have your own sea battle scenarios, but I don't know how you're going to work that in as it would almost kind of have to be a standalone expansion. because you'd have to have a new board that is just C, unless because there are some scenarios that bring destroyers and battleships into the picture. They're offshore, but they're providing artillery support. So there is that. I just don't know if an at-sea expansion is going to be something that Days of Wonder is going to want to venture into with Memoir 44. I just want to see something new, and that seems like it would be a little bit of a big thing for them to tackle. I would like to see just a few more smaller things come out for Memoir 44 to kind of get the ball rolling in the right direction again. I'd like to see them reprint some of the stuff that's out of print so that people who are wanting it can get it again. I'd like to see them start doing some of that before they start coming up with a whole bunch of new stuff, big stuff. Plus, I don't know if at sea is going to be that big of a thing anyway. I think it would be cool, but I don't know. Adam Holt, for the painting lesson at Dice Tower Con, does it cost anything? No, it does not. Also, do you teach all of the techniques like dry brushing, washing, etc.? We'll touch on that stuff, but understand there's going to be 25 people in each session, and just me and Vernon are going to be doing it. So we won't be able to get to everything, but we'll do the best we can. If you have questions, you ask, and we'll try to do the best we can. It's not really a painting lesson. It's more of a paint and take session where you can come and if you need help, we'll do the best we can to provide help to as many people as we can. But generally speaking, it's just a way for you to come and try it out and see what you think. Just played Power Grid. Wow, it was fun. But like Z, wow, that's once a year game. Yeah, that's true. Power Grid is very mathematical, especially at the end. So yeah. World Recipe of Life. Hello from Latvia. Hello. Have you played Kill Team? I've played like half a game of Kill Team because I was playing it with Vernon at one of our game meetups before he moved up to Alabama, and my son called me with some car trouble. He was lost, and I had to go to where he was and get him some gas and stuff like that. So I did get to finish it. Let's see here. How does Outer Rim replace Xayah Legends of a Drift System? Well, I'm not a good person to ask that because I wasn't enamored with Xayah like a lot of you guys were. So Xayah pretty much replaced itself because I'd like to try it again because I've only played it once and I just had a sour experience with it. So I want to play it again just so that I see if I enjoy it. But I'm worried that I'll get like 2 or 3 turns into the game and then I'll realize, yeah, this is not for me. So nothing replaced Xayah because it wasn't there to be replaced. Are you not coming to Origins anymore? We missed you guys. Well, we're trying to do a little bit more splitting up nowadays. So Roy and Z were the contingent from the Dice Tower that took care of Origins this year. So yeah, I don't know in the future. Are you intrigued by Ultra Quest? No. Did you like Brook City or Street Masters at all? Haven't played either of those. Let's see here. It jumped on me again. Just a minute. I'm almost there. Dale, are you going to get Chris in a game of TI4? We tried. And he came up with a really bad cold that week and wasn't able to make it. But yes, we're going to try to. He wants to try it, and so we're going to try to do it. Are you going to do Hellboy the board game review? Maybe. I don't know if it's going to be me, but we'll try to get to it, I guess. Sorry for the shushing. No worries, April. I was just joking. Batman is a beast to learn. Koss says, all the symbology, enjoying the game even with some of the issues it has. Very good assessment. Ultra Quest looks so fantastic with its Hero Quest look, but Hero Quest wasn't meant to be the cooperative. Wasn't meant to be cooperative. I'm passing. This Zargon wants to kill. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm being texted by my. I have to answer this. Sorry, I apologize. I know this is somewhat rude. I apologize. I'm sorry. All right. So they're needing a debit card. So I'm going to be doing that. All right. Nathaniel McInnes, good morning from San Antonio, my hometown. What's up? All right. Yeah, San Antonio, Texas. That's where I was born and raised. Let's see. What is your favorite version of Pandemic? Terrace. What is my favorite version of Pandemic? I'm going to have to say... I'm going to have to say the Legacy. You know, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and Season 2, that's my favorite version of the game. Now, if you're talking about just the core mechanisms, I liked the one that was in Spain. What was it called? Spain, Iberia. I think that's what it was called. Pandemic Iberia. That doesn't sound right, but I think it is. That's probably my favorite version. I liked the historical nature of it, and I also kind of liked the look of the board as well, as it looked different, and it didn't look like, you know, that squeaky clean Pandemic that it started off with the you know, the blue map and all that kind of stuff. It had a rustic feel to it, and that's what I liked. Pete Shirey says, Brook City is amazing. I will teach you next week. All right. Looking forward to that then. Leroy Porkins. Just added Twilight Imperium 4 to my collection. Can't wait to play it. You will enjoy it. If I may, start off with 3 or 4 players. Do your homework. Watch some videos before you actually go to the day. But on that first day, take your time. Take your time, okay? Don't try to rush through it. You'll get frustrated because it takes so long. Learning game is always going to be different. You know, play it until you got it, and then schedule another one to play through again. And then you'll really get a good feeling of how it plays. A 3 or 4 player game really shouldn't take you any more than 4, maybe 5 hours if everybody's staying through. Now, that's actual play time. If you stop for lunch, don't count that as part of your play time, because that's what a lot of people do. You know, they'll schedule Twilight Imperium 4 and they'll start playing at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they don't finish until 4 o'clock. Oh, but we went out to eat and took 2 hours to go eat. Shame, shame, shame. You know your name. So don't do that. Jaws will be a Miami Dice review, right? I don't know. Armando, hey Sam, only want your opinion. I pay the pledge for Bloodborne, the board game, on Kickstarter, then the shipping cost is greater than the base game price. Would you cancel it? I'm not the right person to ask this question to. Now, I will put myself in your shoes. Would I be somewhat disappointed if the shipping cost were more than the base than I paid for the game? Yeah, I would be disappointed. And I don't know that I would be so disappointed that I cancel my pledge, because if I'm kickstarting it, I probably have the opportunity. I'm able to afford it. Would I like it? Nah. But would I cancel my pledge? I don't know. It's stepping into another realm there. Oh, excuse me. I was in the middle of swallowing, and then I tried to speak. Sorry. That was disgusting for you, I'm sure. My work has been insane the past 6 months, Elias says. What are the top things I missed in the board game and Dice Tower world? Oh, I don't know. The top things, that's a subjective question, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really know where to begin with that question. That's such a wide spectrum. Are you excited for Eclipse, Second Dawn of the Galaxy? If that has anything to do with the original game Eclipse, no. And I see the winky smiley face there, so I guess you're joking. Really enjoyed an older video you did on Christian games. Do you think they will be more coming out like Battle for Souls? I don't know. Battle for Souls, I don't know if... I mean, I guess that would be at least a Christian themed game. But I've never played it. I've only heard about it, and I don't know. I guess it's got the theme there, but I don't know that I would call it a Christian game. I think unfortunately there are few designers out there that are wanting to design Christian themed games, because frankly they don't sell well, because more often than not you would think that the thing to do would be to get it into Christian bookstores. Well, Christian bookstores are a dying breed. So what stores are going to get it? Furthermore, are you going to try to get a publisher to print it, or are you going to try to kickstart it and do it yourself, which is going to have, trappings and things like that later on? Designers are on the fence, sort of, on wanting to produce Christian games because they don't know exactly what market to go. There's a lot of different things to think about. To answer your question, do you think there will be more coming out like Battle for Swords? I don't know. I played one called, I think it was, what was it called? I hate that I can't remember. I want to say it was Redemption, but I know that's a card game that came out a long time ago, and that's not it. But this was like a miniatures, modular board, campaign-style game that was coming out where you were taking on the role of angels and protecting the citizens of a town that was underneath demonic attack. And you're trying to battle through all of the bad guys to get to the head bad guy. And it had that theme to it, and I really enjoyed it. I played it at Dice Tower West, and I really hate that I can't remember its name right now, because I really did enjoy it. Artwork was fantastic, but I can't remember it. I'm so sorry. My son is still come back to the room where I am. Let's see. Have you tried Vault of Dragons? I have not. You're welcome, Christopher, for answering. I had to print off Cause I thought you said a button of player aids for BGG, but he actually said I had to print off a butt-ton, B-U-T-T space T-O-N of player aids on BGG for Batman. I felt like we had 2 or 3 learning games in a row. Yeah, that could seem like that. See you later. It could seem that way because that's just the way it is. It's just one of those things where you are, when a rule book is, in my opinion, again, that poorly organized, it does feel like you have to play 2 or 3 learning games, unfortunately. Now, you've got a pretty good idea of how it is, but after that first play, but you're not really playing smoothly on the second or third game yet. It takes until that fourth game to really feel like you've got everything down. Any advice for an ESL teacher? Games to use depends on what you want to use your games for. If it is because I've used games like Transamerica and Ticket to Ride to teach geography in a general sense. I know there's problems with some of the boards as far as geography is concerned, but just to give you an idea, because there was, especially with the younger kids, there was that idea that America is LA or America is New York, or so to kind of counteract some of that, I would play games with them like Transamerica, because there's very little. And I would play Transamerica and Ticket to Ride as a break from speaking English. If you want an English-speaking game, I would try some of the party games that are out there. Things like Concept would be cool, kind of, but that's not really speaking, is it? Maybe I'm really drawing a blank now. Party games like Say Anything, that would be a good thing, because they have to write and spell things correctly, but then you have to also listen to the question that's being asked and then provide a good answer and then talk about all of the different things that are going on. So a lot of party games are really good with fostering communication. Say Anything is one of them. Let's see, Spyfall would be a good one, because they have to ask questions but then there's the level of asking a question that is too informative or not too informative, and be sneaky about it. So there's another echelon that's there. So I would give those two a try. If you want to take a break, try Transamerica or Ticket to Ride or something to that effect. Because with Ticket to Ride, there's a little bit more reading that's going on that's not so pictorial. With Spyfall, though, there's hardly any reading going on. It's all coming out, it's all auditory speech. So there you go. Which do you like better, Detective or Chronicles of Crime? I have not yet played Chronicles of Crime. I think from what I've heard of Chronicles of Crime, I will like it better. But I really enjoyed Detective for its depth. So I don't know. I think Detective works more in a kind of murder mystery dinner atmosphere, where you have people over to your house and you have dinner with them, and then you launch into this open-ended activity of trying to figure out the case in the game, whereas Chronicles of Crime seems more like a board game. So I think I'll like Chronicles of Crime. I haven't played it yet. Which one is better? I don't know. Red Alert was on Kickstarter. Okay, thank you for clarifying that for us. Stephen Stanford, thank you for your answer. You guys have been extremely helpful in navigating this new hobby. Good. Appreciate that, Stephen. Leroy Porkins, excited for Eclipse Second of Dawn? No, because I don't actually know that much about it, and I didn't really enjoy Eclipse that much to begin with. Let's see here. I am an ESL teacher in China. Any advice on games to use? I just answered that for somebody else, so there you go. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, Lone Mean Bull. What is your favorite game table and why? My favorite game table and why? Well, I don't really have a favorite game table, because frankly we don't use a whole lot of different ones. This is a Rathskeller's, and they are amazingly well produced game tables. They're based in Greece, so shipping may be a little bit more than you're willing to go. However, we've also used Game Toppers in the past. Game Toppers is owned by my friend Berkey, Kevin Burkhartsmeyer, and he does a phenomenal job, and he's a great guy. He's very ethical. He's very honest, and he works hard. He is a small company, though. He only has a few employees, so it might take him a little bit longer to get back to you or something to that effect. But he's very honest. He's very much about the customer service aspect, and he does a great job as well. His product is very cool. Game Toppers is a game table that has a recessed surface here, but it clamps on to like one of those plastic tables that you can buy at like Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club or something to that effect. And it turns those kinds of tables into something like this. Now, it's not wooden. It's basically, I think it's aluminum, so they're not heavy, but they're very sturdy and they're very well made. I believe Mark Street just did a preview video for some Game Topper product, so you can go check that out. I think he just posted it last couple of days, so you can check that out. But I don't really have one kind of table that's better, in my opinion, than others, but there's a lot of good products out there. You just have to pretty much determine what is going to fit your budget and then go from there. Let's see here. What do you think of Dwellings of Elder Vale? I really enjoy that game. Played it in a pretty heavy prototype form on the cruise with myself and Mark Street, and it was fun then. We played it the live playthrough that was sponsored by Breaking Games and had another good time there. So I really enjoy the game a lot. I do. So I think that is one of the games that would be worth it. Of course, you have to make the final decision on whether or not you can afford it, but there you go. Hello from the UK. Hi, Phil. Devin Stoddard, how do you feel about Abomination? I have, well, let me read. The art looks subjective. I don't mind it, but it's going to be an issue for a lot of people. It does seem highly in line with the game's theme, though. Well, Abomination is that Frankenstein's monster themed game. So, I mean, it's fictional, right? So, I mean, why would we have any more problem with that than we do with anything else that's also fictional? Sure, you want to stay away from stuff that, that you might have personal convictions about, but I don't know that I have any personal convictions against that whole Frankenstein's monster-esque theme that Abomination carries with it. Now, I don't know a lot about the game. It might go deeper down that rabbit hole than I want it to go, and I won't know that until I actually look at it. But right now, I don't necessarily mind it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know, if you're going to have a problem with that, should you read Frank Shelley's Frankenstein? Or, I'm sorry, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Should you read that book? You know, I mean, it's just one of those things. What game or games would you recommend to play with someone who doesn't like complex games but likes dice and chance? Spoils of War would be a good one from Arcane Wonders, where it's really a lot of chance and a lot of rolling dice, but there's a little bit of a liar's dice aspect to it, where you're trying to bluff and that type of thing, but you're also getting some points for different kinds of set collecting, but it's not complex at all. It's very simple. That would be one that you could try out. Bang the Dice game, I say that. I use that on a lot of lists because it's one of my favorite games, but it fits your category here of not being complex, and there's a lot of dice rolling in it. So you could try that one. Dice Masters, Quarriors, these are all not complex games but have a lot of dice rolling and chance in them. So yeah, Memoir 44 would also be there, but I think I don't think it's more complex, but I think there's more going on in it. But I don't think it's a difficult game at all, especially in its base game version. And it has, you know, dice rolling and chance, but you also have the strategic value of card play and that type of thing as well. So any one of those I think would do well. Let's see here. Have you ever played Kingdom Death Monster? No, have not. If so, what did you like or not like about the game? I haven't played it yet, so there isn't anything that I necessarily like or don't like about the game. I don't like some of the models that have been coming out with it, but from what I've heard, many of those models that I've had issue with are rarely used within the game, so they were just kind of, the Kickstarter exclusive stuff that people paid out the nose for. So I don't know. Giovanni Henry, do you like The Alchemists? I know it's a Euro game, but I don't know. I've not played The Alchemists. What do you use for getting old paint out of miniatures? I've received some old minis for free with really horrible paint jobs. Vernon would be the better person to ask, because I don't spend a lot of time getting paint off of models. So I've never really had to do that, but Vernon I know has, who we've talked about it before, and I can't remember what he said he uses. Rob Oren would be another person that would be very qualified to answer that question, because I know we've talked about it as well. And again, it was a long time ago, so I don't remember what he uses, and I don't do it that often. I'll refer you to either of those guys, Vernon Piper or Rob Oren. Let's see. What is the one thing you always look for in a game? Wow, that's a good question. That's a really good question. And honestly, I don't know exactly what it is. I guess I could say fun, but that would be the nebulous answer, right? I'll say probably. I'll say interaction, I guess. That's the one thing that I really want to see in a game. And sometimes whether or not I like the game will be, in some cases, largely dependent on how much interaction there is. Because if I'm not enjoying the mechanisms of the game, I might be enjoying the interaction that I have with the other players, which will help me overlook some of the funlessness of the mechanisms. So it just depends. But maybe player interaction is the one I'm looking for. UZ are like Batman and Robin. You make a good duo. Who is Batman and who is Robin of the two of you? Well, I guess that depends on what we're doing or talking about. I think we can both share both of those hats, but I'll call Z Batman. I don't mind being a sidekick. Rob Warren suggests soaking overnight in simple green cleaner. Well, there you go. Thank you, Trevin, for answering that. Really bummed about the cruise. Been trying for years. We'll try for 2021. Yeah. Again, if you have the ability to go this coming year, put your name on the waiting list. That's the best thing you can do right now, and you never know, might come up. What's your favorite warband for Warhammer Underworlds? Super Lufo. I think my favorite warband right now are the I really like the orcs. But I also really like the dwarves as well. And I think I probably like the orcs a little bit better right now, just because they're a little bit more powerful in most situations. But I like that the dwarves are pretty close to their power, but they have more. So either one of those is probably my favorite. Larry Fallen, hey Sam, I finally got to play a game of TI4 recently. Came in dead last, but loved the game. What is your favorite race to play as? I really like playing the Ghosts of Cruz. I like the different things that they can do with all of the wormholes and that type of thing, and so that's my favorite one to play. I've been trying to not play them as much, just so that I can experience more races that way. Hazel Wolf says, do you have a schedule for Dice Tower Con? Not with me handy. We have made one, but I don't have one with me handy. We are doing Back Talk this week on Friday, and we're going to be talking about Dice Tower Con, so come back and watch that, and we'll probably have that for you. Random question, what was your high school in San Antonio, and do you like the Spurs? I do like the Spurs. I was much more attentive to them back when George Gervin was playing, and then there was some time off there, and then when Robinson, what was his first name? When David Robinson was there, I really enjoyed David Robinson, and I thought that he brought a lot of class to the court, and then I think he was also a great mentor for a lot of the players that were coming through. Obi-Wan Ginobili, one of my favorite players too, because he's so scrappy. But I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm a Chicago fan, but basketball is my least favorite sport to watch. So I don't really mind either way. My favorite basketball team is probably the Bulls and anybody who is playing against LeBron James. Not that I really have anything personally against it. Everybody likes him, and I think Michael Jordan is better. And I'm wrong, I know. Where do you want to travel? I think the one place on my bucket list to travel would be Ireland at this point. I've been to England. That was one of my big things. My dad was in the Air Force. We traveled to Europe and did a lot of traveling there when I was in middle school. We lived in Germany for 3.5, 4 years, and we got to travel to France, Paris, Belgium, down into Bavaria. We didn't really go east that much. Because that was back before the Iron Curtain fell, but we had a lot of good time there, and there's still a lot of places I haven't seen, but the one that's really kind of calling my name, and I don't think I'll ever be able to do it, but the one that's really calling my name is Ireland. I'd love to get over there and kind of see where my ancestry is from. That's where my ancestors are from, and I'd like to be able to go see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But that's where I would want to go. We were talking about Firefight earlier. I once played a 9-hour game of it. Wow. There weren't really breaks because people had time to do whatever they needed to between turns. I imagine. Wow, 9 hours. Oh my. Wow, that would have been painful for me, because really the only game that I play that's really that long is TI4, and I know that it's nothing like those two experiences are nothing like. G.I. Joe would be a great IP, William Palmer says, for a board game. I agree. Any ideas what type of game? It would be a great miniatures game, I think. Yeah, I think it would be a cool scenario-driven game where each scenario kind of is based on maybe an episode from the TV show, and there's, in order to beat that scenario, you have to, accomplish certain things on the game board, of course, but then also the moral of the story, you remember that? So there's also the moral objective of the game, or something to that effect. I think that would be a cool thing, but maybe a scenario-driven miniatures game would be cool for G.I. Joe. Darren Reckner, happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday. Make Chad buy you lunch at least. But don't break his pocketbook, all right? Keep it on the down low, all right? But go spend some time with your buddy. All right, happy birthday, Darren. Did you ever play Advanced Hero Quest? I think I did, maybe once or twice, but it was so long ago. I don't know. Or the old Warhammer Quest. No, I haven't played the old Warhammer Quest. I've played the one that they've just come out with, the Shadow Tower or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. My brain is just not working well today. But we've also played Blackstone Fortress here recently as well. So yeah, but I've not played the old ones. How old are kids? I have an 8-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old. Yeah. How much of the hobby changed since you started? And oh my goodness, it just broke again. I'm sorry. We're getting low on time as well, so I'm going to skip some stuff just to where it popped down to. I apologize for anybody that I missed. On Shannon, Washington. All right, thank you for the buck. Me and my girlfriend want to get into board games we already like. Pandemic, Betrayal, House on the Hill, Sheriff of Nottingham. Can you give up some recommendations? You're just getting into the hobby. I don't know if you like those. Pandemic, Betrayal, House on the Hill. If you can find a copy of Sheriff of Nottingham. If you can find a copy of Shadows over Camelot, that would be a good one, I think, based on your liking of Pandemic and the cooperative sense there. You could stay on the low side and get something like a Onitama. That is a very quick two-player, like mini chess type of game. So that would be a good one to get into. How did I get started with the Dice Tower? Well, it used to be way back in the day when Joe and Tom first started the podcast that I would come and just sit in with them every once in a while. And that's how I kind of started doing it, just as a fringe type thing. But then when Joe left Korea, Tom needed someone to fill the spot of being a co-host, so I stepped in. And for about, I think, 100 episodes, I want to say, there are about 75 to 100 episodes. I was the co-host of the Dice Tower podcast. And then I left Korea, and that's when Eric took over. I went to California and was there for a year. Had to get a new job because the church I was at couldn't keep me on financially, and started looking for a new job. And it just turned out that Tom and I both applied to the same school here in Florida. Unbeknownst to either of us, we found out as we were interviewing for our respective positions with the pastor and the headmaster of the school that we were both applying, and so that's kind of there. And when we both got down here again, we started doing top tens and stuff like that. Z joined on, and the rest is history. Alex Durbin, curious Air Force vet here, says, what did your dad do while serving? He was in the comm squadron with communications and all of that other kind of stuff. And he was in for 22 years, retired as a captain. So there you go. Metal or plastic minis? Plastic. Metal is a headache. Fitzsimmons, I'm from Ireland. When you come over, I will buy you a pint. Don't forget to kiss the Blarney Stone. So many people have done that. I don't know if I'll do the same, but I'll try to keep you in mind. All right, for the next few minutes, we'll do our lightning round just for the next few minutes. We're going really long here today, and much longer than we usually do, but we always end with a lightning round, so we'll do a few minutes of it. So there you go. Let's see. I'll answer a few more questions here while you guys are getting that in. Somebody says they got Tannhäuser secondhand for $40. Yes, you should feel lucky, because that is a snag and a half. Let's see here. Totally appreciate your perspective. One time you shocked me by your open affinity for Pret-a-Porter. It's a good game, and it's a thematic Euro, so that's why I like it. Malcolm Reynolds or Han Solo? I actually, Kaz, you know the answer to this question. I actually found one of my favorite T-shirts, and it's a picture of Han and Mal standing next to each other with the Serenity and the Millennium Falcon in the background. And so I like them both. They're pretty much the same kind of character, and I like both of the actors as well. So there's really no difference there. Burgers or seafood? I'm a little bit more of a burgers person, but I do like the occasional seafood platter. So, yeah. This or that fail. Viking dwarf or Viking dwarves? Oh, I see what you're saying. Vikings or dwarves, or Viking dwarves. I don't know. Taze or Makita? You can't replace Stan Mikita, but Jonathan Taze is an awesome captain. So I'm going to say both up there. 2 or 6 player, it depends on the game. Flight or boat for traveling. Flight is definitely faster. I guess a boat is more leisurely, so it depends on what you're looking for. Tampa Tarvin says, Makita, dude, I'm not even a Blackhawk fan. That's true. Yeah, Stan Makita is the bomb, but Jonathan Taze is very good as well. Thunderstone, campaign or epic? I like both. I like both of them equally well. So, yeah. All right, just about a minute left. Lightning round is actually failing. You're right, Trevin. But that's okay. Because He-Man or Thundercats, I was much more of a He-Man fan than I was for Thundercats. Although I remember making something, I think it was in shop class, maybe it was woodworking or something to that effect, where I made the Thundercats logo just because I liked the saber-tooth cat head that was there. So, but I was much more of a He-Man fan. All right, well, that's about it. 11:20, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys for joining me and asking those questions. I'm sorry I had to skip a whole bunch there, but we'll get to those at another point in time. Thank you, though, for joining me. We're going to sign off here. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.